Your book, Breakthrough Politics and Race in the Age of Obama, looks at African-American leaders and political history they represent, and a standout figure that, lots of standout figures actually in here, but one who continues to make news and strides is Cory Booker, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. He's from a privileged upbringing in Ivy League schools. He's not even from Newark originally. And he decides to take on one of America's most difficult cities. He just received $100 million for the Newark schools from Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Does he exemplify kind of this new generation of leaders that is kind of doing very different things, taking a lot of risks?
In some respects, yes. I mean, you're right. He's an incredibly compelling individual. You could sit across the table from him and talk for 2 hours and not think a minute had passed. He's very smart. He's very smart politically. He knew that he had to win over his enemies when he became mayor of Newark, a highly politicized city. And he wasn't the first black mayor of Newark, but he was younger than anybody they'd ever seen. He didn't come from the organization. And he had a lot of natural enemies when he took over and a lot of problems. And what he did was he did an interesting thing along the way. He admitted when he was wrong. He sometimes brought in outsiders who didn't go well, and he would let them go. He, unlike some breakthrough candidates, was willing to listen to people who told him other things that he hadn't previously thought of. He has won this kind of iconic support from around the country. He's friends with Oprah, et cetera, et cetera.
Helps.
Now, what he has to do, however, is continue to buck himself up at home, and he is not as popular in Newark as he is around the country. And that is a problem sometimes with some of these breakthrough candidates. People fall in love with the idea of them. The mayor of Washington, D.C., where I live, just got beat in the primary by another Democrat because even though he, too, had been a breakthrough young candidate with bright new ideas, somewhere along the line he stopped listening to people in his own city, and they punished him by voting him out of office. So it's something that they all have to be aware of.
The other thing that was really enlightening was how extraordinary the last presidential primary season was with Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and these awkward and complex alliances with the black community, the women's movement, the new generation of activists coming up. In ways, did that further the public debate or consciousness in America, or even lead to backlash?
I don't know. You know, to this day, if I see a picture of Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, and the president head-to-head in a conversation, I'm always taken aback. I don't remember the time I've ever seen two such committed foes ever end up on the same side of an argument the way these two have. It's quite remarkable. But that does not mean that all the people who are her supporters, all the women who got very excited about the idea of a woman president and still are unhappy that she didn't win, it doesn't mean that they've come along. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all of his supporters fully trust the Hillary people. So there's still a little bit of friction. But all the same, the fact that she got so far, the fact that she showed she could break through to that degree, makes it, I think, easier for the next person, for the next woman of stature. We just don't know who that will be.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you, Fran.